It came in at 10:42 p.m. on a Thursday. No warning, no argument, just one line. I don't feel anything anymore. Please stop trying. I stared at the message for what felt like a minute, then read it again and again. You'd think after 9 years of marriage, something like this would come in person, maybe after a fight or an emotional breakdown, but no, just a text. Allison was brushing her teeth when it arrived. She walked past me as if I wasn't even there, straight to the guest room, the one she'd been sleeping in more often lately. Door closed, lights out. That was it. I didn't chase her, didn't ask for clarification, didn't respond. I just sat there, phone in hand, sitting on the edge of the bed, and something inside me just shut off, not out of shock or panic. It was calm, detached, like a switch was flipped. Looking back, all the signs had been there. We hadn't really spoken in weeks. Sure, we talk about bills, errands, dinner, just the surface stuff, but we didn't talk about each other anymore. She used to laugh at my jokes. Now, they didn't even seem to register. She used to curl up against me at night. Lately, she clung to the edge of the bed, back turned like I wasn't even there. I told myself it was just a rough patch, stress, burnout. Every marriage has its ups and downs, right? Dry spells. I convinced myself of that until that message came. It wasn't a question. It wasn't even a cry for help. It was final, a door closing. I could have followed her into that room and demanded answers, but something told me not to. Not yet. Not until I fully understood what I was dealing with. So I stayed still watching. The next morning, she acted like nothing had happened. She poured her coffee, scrolled through her phone, reminded me not to forget the trash. She even wore heels, ones I hadn't seen in months. No mention of the text. No glance in my direction. Like we were still partners, still running our life together. I nodded, said nothing. That weekend, she told me she had a work off-site, strategy sessions, 2 nights in a company-paid hotel. I didn't question it, just watched as she packed. I noticed the dress she folded into her bag, the kind you wear to be noticed, not to lead a PowerPoint presentation. By Sunday, I had a mental checklist, not physical, but a growing thread of red flags. Her work hours had shifted, and she came home later than usual. Her phone, once left charging in the kitchen, never left her side. A shadow clung to her hand. Then the name John popped up. She dropped it casually once. John from marketing says that client's a nightmare. I nodded. New guy? Yeah. Tall, smart, she replied. That was it. One name, but it stuck. Tuesday evening. I saw her outside talking on the phone, barefoot in the backyard, laughing, her voice low, her toe twisting the grass like a teenager flirting past curfew. She didn't know I was upstairs watching through the window. Friday, I ran into one of her coworkers, Priya, at the grocery store. Small talk, then a curveball. Tell Allison, I loved her dress the other night. That gallery opening was amazing. I blinked. Gallery. She had told me she was working late that night. Deadline, conference call. Nothing fun. That's when I stopped wondering. I knew, but I didn't lose it. Didn't yell. I didn't even let it show. That would give her the upper hand. So I stayed quiet, observant. If she thought I was blind, she was underestimating me. 2 weeks later it happened. She left her phone unattended on the nightstand. Unusual. She was in the shower and something in me said, now. I picked it up. She changed the passcode recently, probably thinking I hadn't noticed, but I had. I unlocked it. Messages were already open. It was him, John. Not flirting, not jokes, just words that stung. I wish I could have stayed longer last night. You looked amazing. Her reply, I hated going home. Then stop haunting the place. Her reply, a laughing emoji. I kept scrolling. Saw the photos, dimly lit but clear. Her in that red dress and beside her, his arm around her waist. Another photo in a hallway kissing. I took screenshots of everything. Messages, photos, and sent them to myself. Deleted the trail. Put the phone back like nothing happened. She came out of the bathroom, drying her hair. Didn't glance at me. Walked into the guest room again. Door shut. I didn't follow, didn't speak. I just sat there in the same spot as that night, phone in hand, breathing, because now I knew that moment, that was a true ending. No meltdown, no scene, just clarity. Like a bone finally giving up trying to heal the wrong way. She had already left emotionally, if not physically. She wasn't mine anymore. She belonged to whatever version of herself John had awakened. And maybe that version hated me or pitted me or forgot me altogether. It didn't matter. I was done chasing shadows, too. The next morning, I ran before sunrise. Later, I met with a lawyer, started looking at apartments during lunch, opened a spreadsheet to sort the accounts. No explosion, just a quiet unraveling. If she could smile through her betrayal, I could walk away without looking back. I didn't leave immediately. The timing had to be just right. I wanted everything to be clean and deliberate. So I stopped asking questions, stopped checking in, and stopped pretending. No more casual affection. I no longer wanted anything from the store. No more safe drives. She noticed, but it didn't happen all at once. Eventually, one morning, she looked at her coffee, then at me. "You've been really quiet lately," she said. I gave her a small smile. "Just giving you space," I replied. She didn't say anything more. I started hitting the gym harder, cleaned up my diet, and dropped 8 pounds without saying a word. I bought clothes that actually fit, stayed late at work, sometimes in the office, sometimes not. I wasn't hiding. I was recalibrating. One evening, she came in with takeout Thai, something we used to share on Fridays. "Got your usual," she said, offering the bag. "I already ate," I replied without moving. Her hand lingered for a moment before she set it on the counter. Right. We were becoming polite strangers. Housemates walking different paths. No longer lovers, barely friends. Then one night, her friend Naomi stopped by. I hadn't seen her in months. The two of them sat on the couch with wine, whispering like teenagers. I nodded at Naomi as I passed by to the kitchen. On my way out, I overheard part of their conversation, just enough to freeze me in my tracks. Naomi's voice, low but clear. "Have you told him yet?" Allison gave a soft laugh. "What's there to tell? He's already halfway gone." A pause, then Naomi again. "Still, he's your husband." Allison shrugged. That hit harder than I expected, but I didn't react. I just went upstairs, opened my laptop, and signed the lease of the short-term apartment I had been eyeing. Later that night, I heard them laughing again. I didn't care what was funny. I just kept packing boxes in my mind. If she thought I would stick around and watch her rewrite the narrative, she didn't know the man she married. I wasn't supposed to see him, but fate's funny like that. A client event on Thursday night, a hotel ballroom, an open bar, too much small talk, and overpriced hors d'oeuvres. I turned toward the charcuterie table, and there he was, John, navy blazer, whiskey in hand, looking like he belonged. I recognized him from the photos I found on her phone. I walked right up to him. "John, right?" I said, offer my hand. "Michael, Allison's husband." He hesitated just long enough for me to see the guilt, the panic, maybe both before giving me a weak handshake. "Oh, hey. Yeah, Michael." I didn't flinch, didn't push. I didn't want to make him suspicious. At least not yet. Not before everything was signed. I still had things to move around. So I played it cool. We made small talk. He asked about my job. I told him. I asked about his. He mumbled something about marketing strategy. I leaned in a bit. "Funny, Allison said you were sharp. I expected someone more discreet." He blinked. "Excuse me?" I smiled. "Don't worry. It won't matter soon." Then I walked away, leaving him standing there confused. Maybe rattled. Good. I wanted him guessing what I knew and what I planned to do. That night, Allison came home late, her coat over her arm, lipstick faded, hair brushed like she'd been somewhere nicer than work. "How was your day?" she asked. "Eventful," I replied. She raised an eyebrow. "Work, sort of. I saw John." I added. She froze in the hallway. "Small world." I said. He seemed surprised. "I didn't know he'd be there," she scrambled. I nodded once. "Doesn't matter." The silence between us thickened. She didn't say a word. For once, she had no script. I walked past her toward the kitchen. "You okay?" she called after me, trying to sound casual. I didn't stop. "Better than you think," I said. And I meant it. She didn't mention John again. No, not the next day, nor the day after. But she noticed the changes. She kept track of what time I got home, where I went, and whether my ring was still on. It wasn't. I'd taken it off the morning after the event. 3 days later, while I was making eggs in the kitchen, she came in arms crossed, leaning against the counter. "You've been different," she said. "Yeah," I replied, cracking an egg. "I know," she said, her voice dropping. "Are you seeing someone?" I turned to face her. "Do you really want to talk about other people right now?" She blinked, thrown off. I know. I don't know what's going on." I set the spatula down. "Then let me help you." I walked into the study, grabbed 2 folders from a drawer, and handed her the first one. Inside were screenshots of texts with John. The ones where she called me a ghost. The ones where he said, "Then stop haunting the place." Beneath them were photos of them hugging, kissing in the hotel hallway. She stared at them like they were written in a language she couldn't understand. "You went through my phone," she whispered. I shook my head slightly. "No, I just stopped ignoring the truth. You left a trail, Allison. I followed it." Before she could say anything, I handed her the second folder, divorce papers. Her hand trembled as she opened them. She sank into a chair, eyes wide. "So, what now?" she asked. "You want to fight?" "Yo." I shook my head. "No need. It's already in motion. The lawyers are just waiting for your signature." Then I packed a bag and walked out without saying another word. Drove straight to the apartment I'd already secured. No calls, no forwarding address. That same afternoon, I created a new email. No subject, no message, just attachments, the screenshots, the photos, the list of dates. I sent it to HR at her company. By the end of the week, they both lost their jobs. 2 weeks later, John left her saying it was too much. He moved to another state, a clean break. She was alone. Eventually, I got a message from her. "Can we talk?" Just once. I didn't reply immediately, but I agreed. Not out of curiosity, not out of anger. I just wanted to see what version of the story she was telling herself. We met at a downtown cafe. She wore a blazer, sunglasses she didn't take off, and looked like she was trying to hold herself together with invisible glue. "I miss you," she said. I nodded. "Okay, I made a mistake." "No," I said. "You made a series of them." She swallowed. "It didn't mean anything." "You crossed the line, Allison. I didn't think it would go that far, but it did." She looked down. "I thought you'd forgive me. Give me a chance to fix it." I shook my head. "You weren't trying to fix anything. You were hoping I'd stay quiet while you wrecked everything." She had no reply, no defense. "You wanted freedom," I said. "Now you've got it." Her voice cracked. "I didn't think you'd actually leave. That was your mistake." We sat in silence for a while. She reached for my hand, but I didn't move. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I believe you," I said. "Doesn't change anything." Then I stood up. "Take care of yourself, Allison." And I walked out.